method. I think we, as people who are on social media, cannot use social media to get people on social media. I think we have to get back on the ground first. To this, that thing. I think if you look at, this is policy, this is politics. I think if you look at any political kind of achievement in history, there's always a champion. So the deregulation of the financial markets in the UK was a specific project by Margaret Thatcher. The NHS and Tony and Blair was Labour's kind of like thing. Obama's legacy will be the healthcare plan. There are specific milestones that people achieve because there was one person who kept pushing and pushing and pushing. I think right now what you're lacking in the government is that there is no senior champion of government embracing social media in the way that you and I refer to it. As opposed to just having a Twitter account is one thing. How to utilize that account is something else. So we see, for example, how Do utilizes its online existence in a very effective way. There is someone senior enough to make the existence of Do online affect policy and products and projects and execution. But there's that. The other thing is how to get people to believe, how to get the people on the corporate side or on the public side to believe that there is value in what you have to say, that you're taking it seriously, that you are being responsible. So for example, perhaps for a whole year, we could poll, or we could compare official polls of certain issues together with Twitter responses. And as we break the frame of error, as we say, well, there's a margin of error of 15, 20%, there's a margin of error of 10%, and then people will be like, okay, so if I do something on Twitter, and if I get the feedback, and the feedback is an X amount, okay, if my social media responses, gives me this much, then I can fairly say that the response is, you have a deflator or like a multiplier, for efficiency, for the error, to count out the error. So there are, quantitative methods to kind of like, to do something in parallel with something more traditional that the government executive is more comfortable with and trusts, to give value to the performance of people and how honest and candid and professional they are in feedback on Twitter or on, other social media stats. So there's, that's my 3 cents.
Okay, I have to add something here because we're falling into this culture of making the government responsible for everything. And it's always the problem of the government to fix the problems, and we don't do anything about it. Actually, yes, there is a culture in the government that needs to be changed, but it's not going to change until you and I and every and each one of us made something about it. Unless a viewer of TV, Dubai TV, went and said, "Where is my voice? I asked you to do something and you didn't do it." And any other user of any other government services. So it's actually the responsibility of both the society and the government.
Aida? This goes back to the original point I made right when we started, is education is key. If you don't start doing it from the bottom down and convince your management that this is something that you need, then all these policy makings are going to make no sense at all. And the second thing I thought was really interesting, because we were talking about, well, and this is not an attack on the government, of course, but every single year you've got the quality awards. I would speak specifically on Dubai. The Dubai Quality Awards is an incentive to give government institutions, appraisal or appreciation for whatever work they've done in different categories. What if, because the people who evaluate it are obviously in the back end, what if they use the mechanisms of actually using social media to talk to people and get the findings there to manage and see how well they're actually communicating or dealing with, their end users at the end of the day. This could be a good start. I'm not talking about this year or next year, but at least put in a 3 to 5 year plan to start saying, yes, we can use social networking or social media platforms, in different ways. So you start from how do you educate your employees, but then you also, since everything is incentivized here, if you do something, you get an award. And the award ceremony is actually a very big deal. So if the end result is getting an award, which makes you very prestigious at the end of the day, why not tie it in with getting information, via social media? And that could be a way to actually change the culture, but it will take time, it will take a lot of planning, and plus policy, and then that will assist you, in terms of culture and communications.
Anisa, is this an indicator that you're familiar with the process? Is this an indicator that can be factored in with getting responses from the feedback from the audience as an one of the indicators.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
something like
see
that.
that. Well, as I said, you can put all the KPIs and you can put all the awards. And we're trying to do this. And we're getting people to actually go and ask and get feedback. But I cannot know, no way, that they actually got the feedback. I'm not going to review all the notes and compare it to their plans to make sure that they actually considered what they heard. So, yeah, it is one step ahead to actually put it in the process and build it in the process. It's a fundamental part. If you're doing any policy or any plan, you need to consult your stakeholders. Full stop. But how to measure it, I don't know.
Tough one.
I'll love it if anyone has a good idea, actually.
That's a